Aloha, everyone, and welcome to our special series that has been going on for the last 2 weeks. Here we are with losing my voice, and we are going to go ahead and start our third of a bunch of episodes. This week, hopefully talk to you guys a little bit about what are the apps that you guys need to know about. As a mom, as a dad, we're trying to protect our kids when they're online. What can we do? So this time you need paper, you need pen, you need a notebook, notepad on your phone, whatever you have. So take the next 30 seconds or so to pull all that together and see you right after this. Aloha and welcome to the Local My Life. Hey, gang. Like I said, this is going to be a working episode. This is going to be lots of actual information that you guys can use and put into place to make sure everything is set and safe for your kids. So hi to all of you guys walking in, to AJ and Mrs. Portland and Boots Mama and Christola and Mama Jane. Love all you guys. However, Tiff, you're here too. Hey, girl. And to everyone coming in, hello. I'm feeding the dogs real quick. And let's start bringing in some amazing women that you guys have all been getting to know the last couple weeks. And we will get to work. So first, introducing, coming from somewhere out there. No, you guys, if you haven't checked out her channel, I've been really talking about her a lot because I've really been falling in love with her channel lately. Okay, we need to get her to 500. So I need your guys' help. Let's get her sub to. Let's try to get her because next week we're going to be doing this episode over on her side. So welcome to Miss PJ. Hello, PJ.
Hello. Hey, everybody. How are you guys doing tonight?
Ha. You doing good, my dear?
Huh?
You doing good, my dear?
Yes. How you doing?
Doing very good. Okay. Well, I guess we can bring the mom up next. Everyone's favorite mom next. Miss Sleuth Mom herself. Hello, Miss Sleuth Mom, my dear.
Hi, everyone. How's it going?
Hey, my dear. Oh, my gosh. We're never going to be able to shut all of us up. You get all four of us up here, and it's dangerous. So, and next, don't bring Sleuth Mom up. She's going to bring down the house is what she'll do. No, this next person brings down the house, okay? This next person is our dear Burden of Proof. Hey, Burden.
Hi. How are you?
Hey, the other fresh 1,000 sub person out there. Congratulations, my dear.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that feels so awesome, doesn't it, when it happens?
Yes. I've got a little country singer I could thank for that one. Hi, everyone. Yes. I hope everybody's doing great out there tonight.
Yeah, this is going to be a good one. We've been talking backstage, all four of us, and this is kind of getting into, up to now, we've been talking about all this stuff, but we haven't gotten into the nitty-gritty about what all we can do. And as we started pulling up websites, I think every one of us were surprised how many actual sites, applications, things like that are out there that we don't even know about. So I'm hoping we can kind of go through that, give everyone an idea. Basically, for those of you who have your notepad, we're going to talk hopefully about 3 things, and we may actually do multiple on this whole subject. We're going to talk about the apps and the websites that you need to be aware of. What are the things that you need to know about if you see on your child's computer, their phone, things like that? Number 2, what are apps that you might want to download to help protect your child, to help you in that process? And then 3rd is actually going to be how to do it. How can you go into parental settings? Because I don't know about you guys. I don't have kids, but the idea of parental settings scares the hell out of me. Sorry, I almost cussed. Okay, it just scares the hell out of me. So let's go ahead and just hit the road right now, I'm going to bring up, this was one of the first two major websites that we started coming across, and it just was one application after another, and many of them were the applications we know about. Okay, and we're like, what do you mean that's scary for kids? What do you mean that could be dangerous for kids? Well, before we start this, and you're going to recognize things among us, okay, YouTube's on this, Hulu's on this, Netflix, all sorts of things on it. One of the things I wanted to make a comment, and gals, jump in on this as you feel like you need to. Gang, no website that we're going to talk about today on its own is bad. Okay, all of us have been on Discord. Well, not all, but most of us have been on Discord. Most of us have played a video game or something like that at times. These things aren't dangerous on their own. In fact, they're wonderful. They provide us a sense of release, a sense of being able to go out and have fun. But in the wrong hands, with people who do not have the right thoughts, okay, and are trying to use them for the wrong reason, they can become dangerous. So like anything in life, you have to watch things carefully and know what's out there for your children. Sleuth Mom,
Absolutely.
you have anything? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And like to add to that, whenever you get young children or even uneducated teens who may not realize the dangers that they hold in their hands, whatever type of device it is, they might not realize that these types of predators could be out there, that not everybody on the internet is necessarily their best friend. And that's where parental supervision and these apps that we're going to talk about to kind of help you comes into play. If you're not monitoring, if you're not aware, if you're not checking up, that's what makes it bad. The monsters that are there, absolutely, Tracy, but also the lack of follow-up. If you're not asking questions about, what your child necessarily might be doing, that's where this turns into a bad situation too.
I do have to agree, like open communication, as we've been saying, like all through these videos that we've been doing, because my kids will come to me and be like, Mom, have you seen this website and this website? Because I don't know I don't go through. I do YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook, and I'm still learning Discord, and I've always hated Discord because of the things that I've heard about it. So now I'm learning about it, and I'm like, okay, so you have to log on to servers, so you're okay if you do this. But I do agree, supervision is definitely a must, because my kids didn't have like technology till 13, but I was always like the mom there watching everything going on, and we always communicated with each other, and that's so important.
True, Birdie?
Yeah. Not everyone is who they say they are. And so you can't just allow the children to think that they're talking or communicating with another person the same age as them. And even as Chat says, sometimes the dangers are the other kids. So there can be the harassment or bullying coming from the other children. And the biggest takeaway that you will get out of this is, as PJ just mentioned, and we have said all along through the series, open communication. The communication remaining open is going to be the biggest thing that will keep them safe and keep it so that that communication will always flow back and forth. You will know what they are doing, and they will always feel that they could trust to tell you, and you're not going to be angry. You're not going to get mad, and it will always be able to be resolved. If they did make a mistake, it's going to be okay. It's going to be fine. But the not knowing on either end is where the problems are going to fall.
Absolutely. And being open with the fact that, we ourselves have made some of these mistakes, right? We have trusted people that we probably shouldn't have. We have gone on apps that kind of got weird or whatever, all of that comes into play, letting them know that you're also human and that we're in this together. As a family, as an auntie, an uncle, a teacher, a Sunday school teacher, whoever you are in a young person's life, to be able to help them through this journey.
I think you also hit something there. As someone who's not a parent themselves, I had the auntie job. And I know one of the things that we did that I think really made a difference in raising my niece is we talked, my brother and I, sister-in-law and I, about relationships and how, so we were, first of all, on the same page. Okay, I knew what they wanted, what they didn't want. I made sure that, because I know sometimes, honestly, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes our kids might feel more comfortable with another adult as that first step before they open up to a parent. So having that relationship with family, with friends, coaches, things like that, so everyone knows what you're thinking about. Because in the end, it's all about the communication. Your kids knowing that you trust them, you respect them. That's what a lot of this comes down to. They want to be respected. As a child, you want to be respected. Okay, and you don't want to be told by people that you can't make good decisions for yourself or stuff like that. So we're here to help guide them along the way, help teach them how to make those decisions. And when we don't know what's out there to begin with, it makes it even more dangerous for us because we don't know what we're helping. If we tell them, oh yeah, go onto those apps, and we're thinking it's just these 2 or 3, and they're thinking about all these others, which are swipe left or right type thing. And yes, there are swipe left, swipe right type apps for our kids. And they don't know who they're talking to. So, yeah, Sleuth?
Yeah. And so whenever you look at that too, the other thing I was going to mention, and my brain just went completely blank as soon as you said sleuth. Basically though, like if they do make a mistake, right? If they did talk to someone, if they did do this, make sure they understand that it's not the end of the world. We watched that video last week, unfortunately, of that young girl who eventually committed suicide because she felt like her entire life was ruined. She felt like that she was being judged by everyone around her and that there was no fixing what she did. The internet is forever whenever it comes to images, stuff like that. But you have to make sure that your child, if they do make a mistake, knows this is not the end of their life. You know, this is not the end of their world. So, okay, let's jump into it.
Yeah, so here we go. So first of all, one of the websites I really wanted to, in fact, I was telling the girls a few minutes ago, the way that I have fallen in love with this website, you would think that they're sponsoring this or something. No, they are not sponsoring this, but they do amazing, amazing work. And it's this site here you're looking at, protectyoungeyes.com. They're a group that before COVID would go around talking to parents, schools about internet safety. And when we found their website, what amazed me is, first of all, they do have an app. Every one of you can download this app and use parts of it for free, and then get a membership for, I think it's $3.99 a month, which will give you even more. They have classes for you. They tell you the latest trends when it comes to this type of thing, what to keep an eye out, how to approach your children, how to have the discussions. But what I really enjoyed from them is this area under parental controls. They have an area for apps and an area for devices. And when you hit on apps, you're led to this page here, which basically has, you name it, every single thing I could think of that our kids might get access to in the course of a day, and helps explain. And we're going to pick a couple of these. Okay, unfortunately, this thing, okay, just looking at this is too many different things for us to go through every single one of these. So we're going to pick and choose a couple, but I wanted to show you just how much was out there, because I'm thinking of just a certain couple websites and that's it. No, there's a hell of a lot more. So, let's I'm going to take this up to the top and just go through a couple of the ones that I know that we've talked about. And girls, pop in if there's one that you're seeing, even if it's one that we haven't spoken about that you want to bring up, because we can bring it up very, very quickly and And so coming down here, okay, I did want to address Discord because I think it's a perfect example for us to talk about. Not all things are bad, because a lot of us, the moment we hear an app that we love mentioned, we're like, oh no, that's a great app. That's a great app. Yes, it is a great app. It's in how we use it. And I noticed a few minutes ago, AJ actually talked about Discord. And so, girls, all of us are on Discord. Let me ask everyone in chat. How many of you guys, put a 1 in chat if you are on Discord? Put a 2 if you're not. Let's kind of get an idea from this. And what about you, those of you on panel? Have you guys had any issues with Discord in the past or read anything that you wanted to share?
My youngest actually had an incident with Discord. I want to say older teen from like, I don't know, across the country. She was having issues with like kind of flirty and stuff like that. But I ended up talking, parents got involved and stuff like that. So, and we had long talks with our young children about what can and cannot be on the internet and stuff like that, and what you guys should be talking about and not be talking about at your ages and stuff. And yeah, so
Exactly.
needless to say, 2 children got grounded from the internet for a while. So yeah.
I think AJ had a comment here, and I wanted to go back in chat to pull that up, and that's why I wanted to bring Discord up real quick. He mentioned that it can be very dangerous at the same time because it offers people immunity, I think is what you meant, anonymity. And a lot of predators go in there with the stock photos as their profile pics pretending to be kids. And how many of us have gotten into communicating via voice chat? And then we end up taking it to private chats and things like that. And that's where a lot of the concerns start happening with all of these things, is that you have adults who are faking that they are children. Or you have bullying. This is where bullying starts up a lot of times. You got a lot of school-based discords.
I was going to say, I think that that's one of the biggest things with Discord, because Discord itself doesn't stop things like Facebook or, Twitter or things that are like heavily monitored, right? Discord isn't monitored. I mean, look, recently we've seen the school shooter put all of his plans right on Discord and nobody stopped it. Nobody reported it. Nobody did anything because it's up to the Discord owner of the server that you're in to determine what's acceptable and what's not. And so that's where you get into this gray area, is what servers are you allowing your child to join? Who controls those servers? And do you know the individuals that are in control of that? Things like that. And so I think that's where you get into the good bad of it, because if you're not aware of who the server controller is and what their standards are, what they allow, and if they actually know the users that they're bringing into it, that's where you get into that gray area of danger, basically.
I remember this was way back in 2000 or so. It wasn't Discord. Discord didn't exist back then. I was part of a Harry Potter role-playing site, and we had our little voice chats and stuff like that. And we discovered very quickly how many people would come into the voice chats acting like they were children, and we could track it. We could track IP address. It was so much easier to track a lot of that back then. And as we started looking at it, we realized that as adults, and there were not many of us who were adults there, but we had to step into the point of saying, okay, if there's ever going to be a live chat, one of us adults have to be in there. We're going to lock down the server, okay, the live chat server, until one of us are there, things like that. So those are the things you can be looking for, okay, getting into that server and finding out what their rules are when it comes to this stuff.
Yeah.
Burden?
So
yeah.
My experience was just me as an adult having multiple accounts come in and attempt to attack me personally. And they, again, have their eminent, and I can't even say it, but basically they ultimately, I don't know who they are. And they come in under different photos and different names. And their goal is to harass and to try to bully, and then to try to also get information. And I, being the one that's in control of the server, am able to lock it down. But imagine children being attacked and bullied and harassed, and they are not in control of the server. They're not able to lock it down. They're not able to put a stop to it. And so that's so scary for the little ones that if this happens to them, they don't have that control that I, as an adult and the one being in control of the server, was able to have.
And you think about them. Okay, if you've got a 13 or 14-year-old child who's on one of these servers and something starts happening to them and they're not talking to their parents, do they feel comfortable enough? Will they feel comfortable enough going to the owner of the server or saying something out loud? Most of your younger kids are not going to feel comfortable going to an unknown adult and saying something is wrong, because so often we teach our kids, okay, that, oh, no, the parents are there to watch you, the adults are there to watch you, and things like that. So they need to feel comfortable to talk to anyone, and that gets back to the whole communication bit. And AJ talked about he actually made his Discord 17 and older. Okay, 17 is considered adult in UK. That makes sense. And also, and that's something as we go through, I'm going to kind of move forward on some of these. Because some of these do have an issue with the ages that they say they're for as compared to what ages have access to them. So, stop me, guys, if you see anything you'd like to talk about that I don't pull up, because I'm just kind of sticking with some of the ones I know we were talking about earlier.
Same thing goes for the people in chat. If you guys have an app that you know your child has mentioned that you want more information on, please let us know, because we can click on it just as easy.
I love that idea. You guys, you know what your kids are getting onto. Okay, because if there's a certain one that you're like, oh yeah, I remember an app named Yellow, because that is one that's in here. Things like that. It's important. Pull it out. Let's find out about it together.
I know Kick has gotten really bad, as I was mentioning, with the live stuff that they have now, because me and my, as I was telling you earlier, my friend from Australia, me and her just chatted on there because it was, I don't know why it was easier for her, but that's how we chatted. And I think when COVID happened or something with the pandemic, they started doing like these live videos with people. They would come on and talk. Well, the chat wasn't really rated G. They didn't allow people to, do nudity or anything like that. But their conversations and what they talked about and the things that they would show was not appropriate for teens. And a lot of teens do download Kick, or younger kids do as well, for a messaging app.
Yeah, for example, okay, there's no age verification whatsoever. And it says 17 and older. How are they verifying? There's nothing going on there. And I'm going to pull something up real quick. I'm going to stop sharing this page. And if you'll give me just a second, I want to pull up their actual page and show you how it's being advertised. Okay, let me see. That's the wrong one there. Sorry, gang. It takes me a second to pull all this together. Here it is. Okay. So this is the Kick website. So one of the things, this is something I noticed earlier today when I was looking at all this stuff. I started trying to bring up the websites to see, okay, what is it that, because most of our kids, when they download an app, they're looking at stuff. Well, look at these. They're saying that this should be for 17 and older.
But it's a bunch of 13-year-olds.
Right.
Look how cool we all are. We're hanging out. We're playing basketball. I got a cell phone, cool bike, cool shoes. Like, it just gives you that appearance of fitting in and hanging out.
Exactly.
And see, I never saw this before.
I just came across this morning. I was like, oh, let me pull up some of these home pages to see how they're advertised. And I started looking at them and I'm like, wait, almost every one of these kids, or at least 95% of them, are under the age of 17.
Oh my goodness.
And, or they try to make it look like they're 17 and older, but dang well, how many kids are walking around with a basketball going to go shoot hoops. They're usually not 17 and older. Okay, it's usually your younger kids. So, hey, Kelly. So, yeah, and okay, so who here knows how, I'm going to take this down real quickly and pull us back to the other, how Kick works. Does anyone have any information on that?
Isn't it just like texting and calling, pretty much?
Doesn't it have a flirting app in it as well?
Now they do. Now they have a
Yes.
live flirting, like video flirting, like, and they send people random people, because this is why we both like took it down, because random people would send us like invites to their videos. So, and they don't ask you your age or anything. They'll send it. They'll just keep sending you like, hey, come chat with me or whatever. Even if you're just chatting with one person, because I only had one person on my Kick. So like, and I get these invites and I'm like, who the heck is this? And then I clicked on it because I knew nothing about it. And this video comes up and this girl's wearing pretty much nothing, saying all this stuff. And I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing this app anymore. Because if my kids got onto my phone, you know what I mean? Like,
and that's true too. That's true. That's true. Like here, the first paragraph, sub apps are a problem. There are numerous sub apps within Kick that give parents concern. There's a web browser, YouTube, image search, flirting apps, and even one called Oink Text, which pairs users up with strangers, just like Omegle and so many others. So once they start downloading these different things, that's when you start. And that's why I'm saying, you know what? Apps on their own are not bad. It's the other things that are there and how they're utilized that becomes the problem.
I would honestly like to know the algorithm that goes into how they connect people via chat. Like, is it based off of, frequent messages? Like what types of things that you're talking about? Is it based off of location? Things like that, because that in itself is concerning to me. Because if it's pairing you up with someone that's local to you, that can be a way for a predator to find somebody that,
and many of them do.
Many of them do. Easier.
I look at the predator activity is rampant. A recent story of a West Michigan teen lured to Iowa through the app. So it is happening on these apps. So, okay, let me go back here. Let's see what other ones we have here that we've been talking about lately.
What's the sperm one? AJ keeps talking about the sperm one.
The sperm one? Oh, is that up here, the Bitlife? Is that the one you're talking about? Bitlife. Okay, let's go for this. So Bitlife is actually a game. I've actually played this game before. Okay, it allows you to make choices. You're born and you start making choices within it. I did a long time ago. I haven't played it in a long time. A lot of times with this one, it's more just the subject material. Okay, there's not a lot to it, to be honest. I don't know if they've updated things, but there are. One of the things Protect Young Eyes does is they also allow people who have, say you have certain religious beliefs or things like that, you can actually look at things from that level also. And that way you can make sure that your beliefs match what your kids are going around and participating with. So this one truly, like you're making choices to visit a doctor, go to movies, go to the library. Hey, Sky Maiden. But once you're 13, you pick your choice. What is your sexual orientation? Okay, you're going to find who you're going to marry. You start going, okay, when you have sex, you make a decision to wear a condom or not. So these,
Yeah, so definitely adult themes, not appropriate for kids.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can get an STD. You can have a threesome.
Wow.
Yep. And then it teaches you even down here. You can steal to earn money. So you can decide, I'm going to be a thief or something. And part of that's just the games. We've all played some of the games like that before.
Yeah,
but
like Grand Theft Auto
certain families,
like
you don't want that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So there's definitely, here's some things. Here, the screenshot below is for a female, but males can choose to get penis enlargement surgery. Okay. I mean, just a lot of different things going on in this. Wow. Interesting. So, yeah, lots and lots going on that one. But that's the thing. I mean, for an adult, it might be a fun type of little game to do and play around with.
Right. There goes
Okay,
our
it's
rated G chat tonight.
I know, exactly. Did not quite work that way,
My bad.
did
Right.
it? No problem. I knew as we went by that, I was like, oh, wow, no. But you know what? It's important for all of us to be able to recognize these things. Otherwise, if we
Hi,
close our
Scott
eyes to
Layden.
it. Yeah. So, okay, what other ones we got here? Pinterest, Pokemon Go, one of my favorite games. Okay, I noticed a couple people mentioned Roblox in there. You know what? I don't know. I'll bring up Roblox, but I think this is for all games, gang. Anytime you're dealing with a game, the game is not the problem. The problem, again, is how people are using it, especially when you've got a game, Minecraft, WoW, World of Warcraft. You've got games that, yes, they have their themes, the adult themes. Okay, but you have to make sure you set parental controls. And there are some parental controls in place. And one of the things they do really well here is explain how to set them. Okay, so, but I do notice Christola made a comment earlier about Roblox, so I wanted to bring that one up.
And I think
Any
there's some
thoughts?
important stuff listed there, like the fact that there are specific accounts for under age 13. So it sounds like it tries to block things like that. I noticed that one of those things is saying about a 6-year-old discovering a sex room. At the top of the app, whenever you first were scrolling, it said that the age recommended was 10 plus. And so that comes into parenting in itself. Now, mind you,
Exactly.
awful
Shouldn't see
that
it either,
sex
but
room
yeah.
even existed.
Yeah.
But you know, what was the child clicking around in? You know, is this an issue of, you know, why was your kid playing an app that was above their age range to begin with, kind of thing. So it's kind of like a good bad situation with this game, with other games. Minecraft, I know, has been an issue in my house in the past. And so, you know, we had an issue where my son was supposed to be playing in a server with his cousin. He left that server. He decided to play in a public server. He got himself in a lot of trouble with some of the conversation that he had. And so, you know, it's a good bad situation as far as the games. People love Minecraft, but the public servers, the public parts of the games can be dangerous.
Right. And I think that's where, okay, for example, it says best scenario with your parental controls. If you set it up, if you take the time to learn these controls, you can set it up where there is no messaging or in-game chats. That if people, and this is the problem, you're also depending on other people too. Okay, if people tag their games accurately, they can't go into something that is rated over that level. But they still may receive random friend requests. So you have to have the talk with your kids about how are they going to use friend requests. When friends come in, who do they accept, who they not accept? So.
Yeah, this one I know nothing about. I don't think my kids do Roblox. They do Minecraft.
Got it.
Yeah.
Roblox is pretty popular among kids, and it can be fun. It can really honestly be fun for them, just like, okay, any other game is going on.
I was going to say that one and Among Us seems to be the two, like, really popular, or at least in my little mind. I feel like those two are what you hear about. And then
Among
Snapchat, of course.
Yes. Snapchat down here.
I know Among Us.
Yeah, Among Us, definitely, yeah. But fun. But again, it's how you talk to your kids, what you tell them about, how you have that open conversation with them and set things up. So yeah, Snapchat. How many of us have Snapchat accounts?
I do.
Yep. So many. But again, it's for 12 and above. Okay, but how many times do we just scrolling through are things you find people who have younger than that. Because Snapchat's one of those areas where people feel that, you know what, I can do stuff and know, okay, I can be there and do whatever I feel like doing.
We just actually had a case that a girl went missing and she was talking to a user in Snapchat and she ended up being found in Arizona.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's it. And again, like here, they're saying a lot of people will use it because you can view the photo for a short amount of time and then it disappears. And that's one of the ways we talk about ways our kids have gotten around us for things. And we talk about vault apps. For example, kids can get apps that look like a calculator. And once they put in a certain code, it opens up information that they can then text out people. They can do whatever they want to through those other apps. So there's so much out there with that. So, but yeah, Snapchat. Definitely. I'm trying to see if there's any stories. So ways that, I don't know, how many of you guys in chat have kids who are, say, okay, in your own household that have Snapchat? I'll be honest, my niece had Snapchat. She did have Snapchat. But we had to have a pretty heavy talk about it also. Because you do run into this thing when they're in high school level. Okay, how do you find the balances between trust and it's hard. How do you do it? I don't know. It's individual for everyone. So let me see here. Let me go back and let's see what else we have here.
Omegle.
Omegle. Oh, did I pass Omegle? I did. I did not want to pass Omegle. There we go. Okay, let's get going. Omegle's a biggie.
It is.
Yeah. God. Who wants to start that discussion on?
Oh my. I could talk a little bit on Omegle.
Okay.
It ultimately can, you get paired with complete strangers from anywhere. You have no idea where they're from, but you enter into a video screen that is going to be a chat. It's going to be a live chat that you will have a video with somebody, and nudity can pop up on it. It's so it can be sometimes it's where it pops up and the person's already nude and doing some inappropriate things, right? And waiting for somebody to join. Things
Jordan,
like
would
that.
you like me to pull up that video you shared with me earlier?
Yes, that would be awesome.
Okay. Yeah, let me do that while we talk.
And then there are also young children that get on and they think that they're talking with another person their age, whether it be a boy or a girl. There are videos that are simulated for webcams. They are pre-recorded and put on a loop, and the video will play just like the one that you're watching right now. And it looks like this girl is communicating. Imagine that you've joined and you're having a conversation with this girl. And instead of it being the live video, you're doing a text video right now. So you could see the person. There's no audio, but you're communicating by the text. And so it looks completely live. She's reading your message right now. And then she will respond back to you. And it all looks completely real, completely legit. And then there's also one of a young boy that will do the same thing, similar. He's, touching his hair and doing the same kind of gestures and deep breaths and sighs and laughing at the screen, smirking at it, thinking that whatever got written was really funny. And these people are falling for it. These young children, teenagers, think that this is real. And that really, in fact, who is on the other end can be any age group, any predator. Yes, it is frightening. It's frightening.
And that's one of the easiest things for someone to do. Last week, we were sharing the stuff where people change out their face for someone else's face. This is something you don't need extra knowledge on how to do it. And yet it's there, and our kids, Omegle especially, because, and they are not the only ones. There's so many others out there who are connecting kids without, okay, it's like, okay, out there in the cloud, okay, the cloud picks this person to meet this person, bang, you're meeting. And also you don't know anything about them. And some of these apps I discovered are actually connecting people up that live within like 3.5 miles of where the other person lives. It's
Right.
all
So if you
location based.
pull up your average sex offender registry and things like that within X amount of miles of your house, like within 5 miles of my house, even though I live in the middle of nowhere, I have 14 offenders. And so one of those 14 offenders could potentially be on an app meeting up with a random child that matched with them right in their very own neighborhood. And things. And so that's scary. And then you look at cases like Kaylee Jones. Kaylee Jones is currently a missing teenage girl out of Georgia. And her last contacts were with somebody through the Omegle site. And her parents, the FBI, everyone is trying to identify the man or woman that she was last speaking to, because the way that Omegle works is it's hard to trace, and that's why predators use it.
Yep, exactly. And yeah, as they say, bottom line, there's absolutely nothing good about it. Okay, when it comes to kids, there's no reason whatsoever that, okay, it could be considered good. Yeah, if you're in your 20s, 30s, and you want to meet up people and all that, okay, fine. If you want to put yourself in that position, fine. But when you have a child or a teen, and honestly, I'll be honest with you, even as adults, okay, you want to be a little bit more careful when it comes to your own safety, too.
I was going to say this kind of applies to our seniors and stuff that are getting taken advantage of through the internet scams and the send me money because I love you type situations. All of this stuff that we are applying right now, if you don't have kids, if you don't have children in your life, think about the elderly that could be in your life as well that might be utilizing the internet, because that could be a thing for them as well. And then the other thing I wanted to say is, AJ, you had made a comment about like basically abstinence is the only way to be completely safe on the internet. It's so funny because I told my husband that we were talking about this tonight, and he said the same thing. The only way that you can make sure that your child is 100% safe is to keep them off of these sites. But what we are doing is trying to give you the knowledge so that you can basically allow your kids to be on certain games, certain applications and things like that. Because in reality, they're on computers at school or tablets at school nonstop. If you don't let them do it at home, they have these school devices that they can access this stuff on as well. You know, it takes one or two websites to type into their internet browser on their school device, and they can get past any type of school security locking them out of it. And so that's something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
And I think that, go for it. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. It's really scary because like these websites and stuff and apps and such take away the IP addresses, the locations, and like as Sleuth was saying at schools, like I remember when I was a kid, just thinking that like the internet just coming out, we used to know what to type in so that we could go on like
bananapeeljacket.com. That's it. That's all we needed at junior high. Bananapeeljacket.com, and we were able to access anything.
I just remember that I feel old now. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh,
type in an address and we could access the internet. So yeah, I get it. Like in the IP, like it's so weird that they would actually make a site that you can take away IP addresses and stuff like that with everything that goes on in the world today. You know?
No, it's crazy how much of this stuff does. And it's kind of like the whole thing you talk about with alcohol, for example. We all talk about this whole thing, okay, when a child is a child, if you don't allow them, do you let them have a little sip of alcohol or do you not? And everyone has a different thought behind that. But with these things, especially once you reach a teenager, if you're not going to trust your kids with all of these things out there, it's so dangerous. Okay, because they are going to go out. They are going to find, because they're talking with their friends about this cool new game. And many of these sites are totally fine if they're used correctly, if the kid knows what to keep an eye out for. And that's what it comes down to. I was going to pull up the vault, but I'll wait until we get ready to move. Oops, sorry. I think my mom's getting ready to leave. Let's see what else we got here, and then we'll move on to the other. There were two others I wanted to bring up real quick.
Tracy asked the most dangerous. I would say there's a list here that says Snapchat is number 1, Instagram, Discord, Yik Yak, Among Us,
Where I'm
Twitter,
going.
Omegle, and Hoop.
So in fact, that's exactly where I was going, was Yik Yak.
Okay.
Yik Yak and YOLO. And that's interesting. It popped up on that list. Yik Yak is something that I had never heard of. And sorry, my mom is going, hey, Cassie, come here. And so this is one that does the anonymous connection of people within 5 miles. So you are making the worst of everything. I'm going to let's see here. Sorry, dogs are getting bad here. So we're rated at 17. This is where we're expecting kids to not talk on this unless they're 17, but we know good and well, okay? Is there any way for them to check? Do they actually go looking at it? No. On top of it, it's very heavily, it's another one with this cute little, okay, bison or whatever, cartoon to advertise it. It's definitely pushing for adults. Okay, and yes, they've tried to do things, but there are no parental controls. Okay, there's no really way for you to protect your child on it. Any thoughts? Had any of you three ever heard of Yik Yak?
No, but I am Googling it right now because Tim actually just asked, what is Yik Yak basically? And so I'm on the Wikipedia site for it, and it says that it is a social media smartphone application that initially launched in 2013 and relaunched in 2021. It allows people to create and view discussion threads within a 5-mile radius and is similar to other anonymous sharing apps such as Nearby and Whisper. It's intended for sharing primarily with those in proximity of the user. So this is literally for people who want to find people right in their common area. They had actually been sued at one point for failing to maintain their user agreements. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I wonder
they were
what
shut
that
down.
entails. Yeah.
Yeah, they were removed from the App Store in 2017. And then they reopened August 16th, 2021. And what happened? It went straight to the top of the App Store.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and how do they advertise? Exactly what you're talking. Okay, we're going to connect people anonymously. No one's going to know who you are. I am sorry. My mom got that. Sorry. And so no one's going to know who you are. Okay, within 5 miles. 1 second. I'm going to mute for a second if you can take it over.
Yeah, and so it says other people within 5 miles of your Yik Yak are your herd. So that's so that you know who you're talking to is considered your herd. When you post a message called a yak, it's visible to your herd. Then you can upvote or downvote yaks to show your like or dislike of the content. On the hot feeds, yaks in the last 24 hours are ranked by number of total upvotes. And so basically it attracts people to you if you're the top, yak of the day, I would think, or, it gives you that high from feeling like, oh, people liked what I had to say and stuff like that.
So it's really, we're all talking to begin with all these concerns about kids talking to people that it might be someone else. But here we are all of a sudden, complete anonymity, someone within 5 miles. There is nothing good about that when it comes to a child.
Here's my concern. For all of these apps that we've looked at so far, I'm noticing that the age is always 17 plus. Why is it not 18?
I think AJ hit that one on the head. In other countries, 17 is an adult. He made that
and,
comment earlier. Yeah.
in a lot of the New England states, actually 17 is the age of consent.
There you go. So that becomes the issue too. But then that also brings up a different thing though. Okay. These companies are going for the lowest age possible for consent for all this stuff. Okay. What about in America? Is there a way that they can be like, no, you've got to follow American rules if you're advertising in America? Are there ways we can do anything like that? By the way, I'm checking Crystal. I don't see Random Nautica here, but yes, I know what you're talking about there. And yeah, to me, that's a little dangerous because you got kids running all over the place. So let's see. The other one I wanted to share real quickly, because this one changed its name, actually. So, oh, wait, no, it's not this one. Sorry. It's Yubo that changed its name. I don't know. Has anyone ever heard of, I think it was called Yellow at one time? Ooh.
No, not Yellow.
I'm apparently
Yellow.
old because I don't know any of these. Like I was laughing because everybody was saying that earlier. I got like Among Us, Roblox, Discord, you know, a couple of those things. But then after that, you guys lost me a long time ago. I'm like, where's the Hulu one? Let's, you know.
I know, exactly. There's so much there. I had never heard of Yellow, but a lot of people started popping up in chat saying, oh, well, what about Yellow? It looks like Yellow actually may have turned into Yubo. And basically, this is a teen dating app. The whole idea is putting Tinder in place for teenagers. Okay. Start off with the idea of Snapchat, where people can take pictures that disappear real quickly, combine it in with a whole Tinder idea where people are connected with each other randomly. Okay. And you can swipe left, swipe right, and then start sharing pictures that disappear. So it's,
you know what I noticed right off the bat?
Yeah.
That it shows the people, the little pictures are both age 18, right? Because they don't want to advertise that it's for kids. But then you look down here and it says that it's for ages 13 to 17.
Oh, did you say that the pictures disappear?
I think I had read that. I may, because Snapchat, that's the whole idea behind Snapchat. That they can disappear, but I may be wrong on that. Let me double check that. I may be wrong. Predators encourages Yellow's photo sharing app as soon as two users swipe to each other. Maybe they don't disappear anymore. That might have been what it was like before.
Oh, okay.
So, but let me pull this up real quickly. I pulled up Yubo's website. Let me share this one with y'all. And again, this one was even worse in my eyes. This is their website. So they are completely advertising to teenagers. Okay, there's no hiding it. This is completely teenagers here. And again, we're setting everything up that way. Anti-boring. See, they try to get them, okay, say that they're 18 and older, but you know what? You're with the colors.
You belong here.
Yeah. It's like everything is completely set up to pull younger kids in. Okay, it's exciting. Oh my gosh, horoscope. I can find out my horoscope. All these things that a lot of our teenagers really get excited about are right here. So let me pull back to the other one so everyone actually sees that. Oops. So yeah, it's just there's so much out there, and understanding and recognizing all of that is what's so important.
So what can we do, Locomai?
Yes, there we
what
go.
Can you show us that we
Sleuth
can
reads my
put on our
mind.
phones or on our devices to help protect our kids?
See if I can find the right app. There we go. Here we go. There we go. So here we are, our parent app roundup. So this is another awesome website. I'm going to share this real quickly in the chat if anyone wants to grab it and make it pretty. This is an awesome place that I forget who it was who found this one first, but it was wonderful. These are apps. We have so many of our kids. We know we've got to watch out for these things. Okay. What do we watch? What do we watch? Well, what can you as a parent download to help protect your child to begin with? Okay, and that's where we're going in. Now, there's one sleuth mom. Would you like to start off with talking about the one that I know it's not on this list, but it is really good?
Yeah, so I've actually made a video about an app called M-Spy. And M-Spy, it's literally just M and then Spy, SPY. And what it does is it gives you an app that you can download onto your child's device, whether it's a phone or a tablet, whatever their device is that they're using. And it doesn't show up on your child's side. So they have no idea that you're monitoring them. So if you have a kid who is prone to perhaps lie, or that perhaps you have had past internet history with issues with, things like that, where you might need something a little bit more hidden, a little bit more secretive to know that you're monitoring your kid. This app is great for that purpose. It has a complete keylogger in it. And so every button that your child types, it keeps track of that. And then it also keeps track of every picture that is sent or received. So I know some kids were, using screenshots, or they would write stuff out with like a stylus, screenshot it and send it to get past the keylogger. So this takes that ability away from them as well. And what it does is you can access it while they're on their device. You can look right at it, or you can get sent like weekly reports. Basically, it depends on how you want to view the data. Do I recommend reading absolutely every single word that your child types? No. But if we're in a situation where you need to check, because maybe they've been caught talking to people in the past. Maybe they've had issues where they've ran away, or they've been lured, or something like that in their past. This is a good thing to help make sure that you don't get into a situation like that again, or to be there in the first place. So it's called M-Spy. It's like I want to say it was like $160 for the whole year.
Bad.
But it's not bad considering the amount of safety that it helps provide.
You got it. Well, take 160 whatever a year, divide that by 365. Okay, think about what would you give up just to provide that security for your child. Is it worth a cup of coffee a day? Yeah, I'd say so. So those are the things that, going and looking at. Some of the other ones here. Okay, and I haven't tried any of these, but checking these things out. The Parental Control Bar. This one's totally free. It's a place that you can download, and it's going to help prevent your child from going to some of these websites that are definitely adult oriented. Okay, nice and easy. MobiClip. And we're going to go through this pretty quick, and because there's one other area I wanted to touch on very quickly also. And like I said, and actually, let me mention this real quick. If there are other sites you would like us to look into, and share with you guys, maybe do a part 2 or something, please put them in the comments here so that we can go and take a look at what it is that you'd like to look at and be ready for another series part of the series in the future. So MobiClip, it's going into cloud. Okay, going into the cloud, making sure things are safe and secure. Okay, just what's being watched, things like that. So going through here, just finding out some of the ideas. Life 360, we were talking about this the other day. My family used Life 360. As a teenager, yes, you got frustrated because you didn't want mom and dad knowing where you were. But how many times has this made a difference when all of a sudden someone goes missing and they happen to have their phone on them? You can find out where they are.
Like 360.
Or you're adults. I know, it's like I'm going to follow you every minute of the day. I actually have used it for my mother. There's been a few times mom has not shown up at a certain time, and I'm like, oh my God, I hope she's not in an accident. Oh, I hope this. Oh, I hope that. And I've actually utilized, so for those of you who have elderly parents, it's also very helpful in that level. If you have an Apple phone, okay, there's Find My Friends. Find My, I think is what it's called now. And it does a lot of the same thing too. So, Surfy Parent, okay, just watching what's going on when someone's online. Okay, helping out if there's we'll let you know, for example, this is saying if your children are being cyberbullied, it might be able to catch on to that and help. Because that's one thing we haven't addressed much. Cyberbullying is very serious out there. And a lot of times, because it's coming from their friends, our kids don't want to say much to us. Because shouldn't they be able to handle it themselves in their heads? And you want to know what's going on so you can help protect them, help give them the skills that they need to be able to deal with that so that they don't end up hurting themselves or something like that. Nanny, many of us have heard about. Okay, another one of those things. Norton Family Parental Control connects in if you've got your Norton subscription. Okay, check into those things if any of you guys use Norton for that. So a bunch of different things. Teens Safe. So definitely check this one out because there's so many different things out there. And you can find what works well for your situation. And because each of us has someone with a 7-year-old child is going to want something a little different than someone with a 15-year-old. So we have all those things. So definitely take a look, and we've shared that one out. And the other one I wanted to share real quickly is going back to, okay, let me ask all you guys, how many of you guys get scared? Sorry, Cassie's really being noisy. How many of you guys get really worried and scared about having to set parental controls? Okay. Put a 1 in chat if you guys feel very comfortable getting into parental controls and you do it all the time. Okay. Put a 2 if you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to touch it, and I hand it over to someone else in the family to do for me. Okay. Let's just see what we got going on there. And because I know me, every time I look at parental, oh my God, it looks like tons and tons of stuff and I don't know where to start.
I think the biggest thing for me is like some of these devices and some of the apps and stuff like that. For example, the Nintendo Switch for my son, I was trying to block certain things and it wasn't giving me the options that I felt it should have, right? It wasn't, I feel like you should be able to block certain parts of the game and certain parts of things, and it just wasn't there like I thought it should be. Maybe, I don't know. I could have Googled it. I could have probably watched a YouTube video on it, but I got frustrated, so I deleted the whole thing until I have time to sit down and actually deal with it. And so it's just,
Bingo. Well, and that's the thing. It gets frustrating. You're worried you're going to hit the wrong buttons and you're going to, okay, there's so many things that happen. Or you do what Nicole does. Okay, your kid's the techie, so you let them help you set it up. And then that becomes a different issue all on its own. So one of the things I have noticed with that Protect Young Eyes website is if you go to the parental controls and devices, bingo, you've got pretty much anything here equipment-wise that you might have. You can go into, okay, how many of our kids have Nintendo Switches at home? Okay, you click on it. Now you've got step-by-step instructions on how you can do all this. Okay, because Switch is amazing. I have a Switch. I love it. Okay, but what do I do about it? It gets confusing. You got different kids. How do you set controls for one kid one way and another kid another way? So one of the greatest things I found about this website is it actually talks about how you can go ahead and do these things. Okay, I would not have even thought about cleaning things, whatever. I don't know. I'm not a techie. So all of this stuff is right there for each of us, no matter what it is that you're dealing with. So let me see. Xbox. Most of us have our Xboxes or PlayStations or whatever. Same thing here. Okay, what are the different layers of protection here? So please take a second and look at that website because it truly does make a difference. So, okay, so gals, any last minute thoughts or anything like that? I know we've covered a lot today. This has been massively tons of stuff.
I think just keep with the open communication is the ultimate keep with the open communication no matter what, and just keep in mind the tools that we just showed and the apps that we showed, and that with this site that we have, that you can look into further these other sites. And if again you have any questions on them, just ask us and we can do a part 2 and go further into these.
Yes, definitely. And I think right here, AJ, you have a good point here. We do have power with these companies. Okay, we can speak. Sleuth mentioned a great idea the other day about Disney Plus. Why can we not specifically block certain shows? Okay, rather than just all this generic overall blocking, why can't we go in and be more specific? We do have the power to go and talk to these companies about stuff like that. Okay, it doesn't feel like we do, but if enough of us come together, it does make a difference. So remembering that. And those of you guys, I do want to say before I forget, these 3 girls with me, for those of you who are here from my channel, they have amazing stuff on that. They go live a lot more than I do, to be honest, and they really do some great stuff. So the mods have been great at trying to get their links out, but please go sub to them, please. And Sleuth Mom, any other thoughts you have, my dear? I'm calling you on the carpet here. Yes.
No, it's good. I feel like I've talked so much, so I was trying to but I just want to say that, I'm so thankful that we're doing this because I'm learning. And, I've got my son who's entering his teen years, and then I got 2 little ones following behind, and I can only imagine how much worse it's going to get in the next 10 years. Right. And so I'm thankful because honestly, you think about internet safety and awareness, and the stuff is out there, and you kind of just assume like, oh, but my kid is the good kid, right? My kid, there's no possibility, he would never. And then one day you wake up and he did. Right. And so it kind of brings that reality into the situation where, okay, we need protection, we need some type of safety and protection in our house. And so I'm glad that we're doing this series because not only are we helping the community learn, but it's teaching me as well. And so thank you guys for all of the research that you ladies have been doing and how much time and effort we're putting into these shows. And I look forward to doing this after internet safety, whatever you ladies want to cover. I am loving our Wednesday nights together.
Yes.
Yeah, they're actually really fun. I'm enjoying learning, and it's a learning process for me because I don't like technology, but I'm learning a lot about it. And it's good that I'm learning a lot about it. And I'm having a lot more conversations with my kids, as I brought up to Local My tonight about my son brought up TikTok and everything else. My son hates TikTok, like beyond belief, just because a lot of he doesn't like his little sister likes TikTok, so he doesn't like that. She's 13 and he doesn't want her on there. And he's like, well, Mom, if you search this, he tells me all kinds of stuff, and it's their generation, and so they keep telling me all this information because they want me to watch out as well, because I don't know this stuff. I'm oblivious, and having these panels, I'm learning more. So I'm enjoying these panels as well.
It is true. I just learned one thing. I had to go back and chat to find it. AJ, I did not know that. HBO Max has adult-rated movies listed in their kids sections. I'm going to have to, as soon as I'm done with this, I'm logging into HBO Max to check that out. I never knew that.
Wow, me neither.
That's just, and see, those are the things.
Too.
Yeah. We don't even think about it as we're talking about things. And I'm even listening as we're doing these discussions. And I'm going to talk in a second about next week, because next week's going to be amazing. I'm really excited for next week. But I'm looking at things. One of the things I keep hearing us talk over and over and over about is communicating with our kids. That might become a subject material that we talk about one day. I know I'm throwing that out right in front of everyone, but I don't know about you guys, but I'd be thinking that a lot of parents, how do you have that conversation? What are ways you can approach things like that? So if there are questions like that you guys have in chat, okay, let us know, because this is truly, this whole series is about helping all of us figure out what we need to do. And also, talking about that next week, we're going to be over at PJ's channel. Okay, so please join us there. Same time, same channel. And we're going to start talking about the mental health side of this. How is this affecting our children's mental health? Okay, it's such a wide area. PJ, you want to talk a little bit about it? She may not have heard me. PJ, can you hear me? Something happened there. No problem. But yeah, no, we're going to talk a lot about, okay, mental health is something that's hard for all of us. PJ has, she's very knowledgeable about a lot of this stuff. You guys know here on this channel, we talk about mental health quite often. And a lot of times our kids are not prepared for a lot of the stuff they're dealing with. And a lot of what they're having to address on the internet, whether it be things such as sextortion, bullying, harassment, seeing things such as pornography, things like that, it's affecting them for their future. So we're going to address that topic next week, talk a little bit about it. So if you guys have questions or specifics that you want discussed, please let us know. And please make sure to head over to PJ's chant that way, not this way, that way. And thanks. Yeah. Anything you wanted to add to that, PJ? Would you like to add anything to that?
No, I'm making a pretty interesting PowerPoint, and I hope I'm covering everything that I can. And if you girls can, share some things so I don't miss anything, and I'll probably share with you guys. And if anybody has any questions, I think everybody knows how to get in touch with me. If not, ask Sleuth or Locomai or Burden or whatnot. That way I can cover what everybody wants to hear about, because there's a lot, and there's a lot going on, because trauma is a huge thing and everything affects the brain. And I'm learning a lot about that. And that's basically what I'm going to school for, is how our children are affected by trauma. So it's interesting.
Yeah, I can't wait for that subject. It's going to be really good. I can't wait. So thank y'all. If anyone has anything else in chat or anything otherwise, we will wrap this one on up. And I'm enjoying every one of these every week. I mean, I've learned so much. So thank you, girls, for gals, women, my friends. Thank you all for joining us today. You three.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. Thank you guys. All of you guys in chat. Thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. We will be back next week, same time, different channel. So head on over for next time, and I will see you then. Thank you all tons. Aloha, mahalo, and stay safe out there, gang. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone but Tim.